Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Yeah. Jesus.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's hit me up.
You see what filming this? You've got a face for radio.
I've got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Martial arts chat.
Hello, my name's Chris Allen, and this is Martial Art Chat Podcast. Today, I'm honoured to be joined by Cage Warriors fighter and winner of recent event, Cage Warriors 106 Night of Champions, their biggest event, Mr. James Hendin. James, thank you very much for coming on, my friend. How you been?
I'm good, mate. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
No, I really appreciate it. And I know you after your fight, you came backstage and you had a chat with us all afterwards as well in that 40-degree room that we all put in. Yeah. Yeah, so I appreciate you taking the time now as well. At least this way I can have the windows open, cool down a little bit, and we can have a slightly longer chat as well without me sweating everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun, man.
So what you've been? So yeah, first of all, what you've been up to since the fight? It's been just over a week now. What you've been up to?
Absolutely nothing. Just chilling out, mate. Eating tons of terrible food. That's bad for me, but yeah, mate. Just trying to relax really, and just go look over my last performance a little bit, and just nothing too strenuous. Just eating bad food really.
Yeah, what's your go-to? What's your go-to bad food as soon as you're out of training? Because I know when I spoke to you, you went for a cinnamon bun, but that failed because you had a sore lip or so, or sore tooth. So
yeah. Do you know what? I've probably eaten about 10 cinnamon buns this week.
Jeez.
Yeah, probably eaten about 10. Yeah, mate. To be honest with you, every day I'm just eating bad food. As soon as I wake up, it's just bad food. I mean, I need to kind of get out of this habit sooner or later, or I'll be fighting at heavyweight. So
that'd be interesting.
it would be interesting, like a little 5'8" heavyweight. I mean, if Andy Ruiz could do it in boxing, why couldn't I do it in MMA?
That's it. Well, if you go to light heavyweight, you can take on that Modestas who just won at light heavyweight. He's a big old lad.
Oh, I know Modestas actually. He's a good guy. He's from he's good friends with one of my coaches.
All right. Where's that gym? Yeah. Have you trained together or something?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't trained together. No, but I know him through like people. Yeah, he's such a sound bloke. Such a sound bloke, mate.
No, I found as well. I spoke to him recently on a podcast.
Yeah.
I was saying, just quickly, sorry. Have you just done something with your mic?
No, I mean I've got headphones in. I don't know if it was just. Is that better?
One sec. Yeah, that's better. I could hear everything I was saying, and I could hear myself.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh.
That's right. I'll edit all that out. But yeah, Modestas, mate. I had a chat with him the other day, and he was doing probably one of the nicest blokes you'll ever meet.
Yeah, definitely is, mate. He's such a nice guy, and he's an absolute beast as well. So fair play to him, and he just won the belt. So
yeah, mate. He's done quite a bit. He's like trained with John Jones. He was saying and all sorts of things,
Yeah. I heard. Yeah, I got told ages ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, that he was out training with he was prepping John Jones for one of his fights. I'm not sure who he was prepping him for now, but yeah, I heard that he was one of his main sparring partners.
That'd be mental, wouldn't it? That's crazy. And you got to think he's quite early on in his career. Is that something you'd like to be doing at some sort of time in your career? Maybe not with John Jones.
I mean,
well, who do you train with at the moment? Like, what gym are you in at the moment? Like, who are your main sort of training partners?
I mean, I'm at NFM at the moment. I mean, I've been doing lots of. I've been doing lots of training recently with Adam Ammersinger. To be honest with you, like he's kind of up there, one of my main training partners. He's an absolute beast and a crazy athlete as well. Like he fights at flyweight, but mate, he's an absolute beast. Like one of the strongest pound for pound guys like I've ever known. Like it's just crazy how strong he is.
How old is he?
I think he's like 26.
Still quite young as well, yeah.
Yeah, he's still young. He just fought on Cage Warriors also and got a win. Really good win as well over like a top guy. But yeah, him I'm training at the moment at NFM in Windsor. But I've got loads of good training partners. Like I've got a guy he's actually my striking coach at the moment. GK1 striking. His name's Gregor. He's a beast as well. I've got Harry Shaw, who he's an amateur guy, but he's smashing the amateur scene at the moment and could quite easily go pro and also tear up the pro scene. He's a beast, and he's also a super athlete as well. So I mean, everyone I'm training with at the moment is just absolute beasts and just super athletes. I mean, we got a lot of guys come over as well. I can't remember what their gym's called now, but we got some guys come over from like Bath sort of area, and they come over and train with us, and they're all absolute savages. So yeah, we get some good rounds in with some good people. So yeah, It's all good.
Did you bring anyone in particular going into your fight we saw just recently? Because we saw a lot of your ground game in the last fight as well. Like really, really impressed by that. Was that something you focused on going into this fight? Did you bring particular people in to work on the wrestling, or was it just the way it went?
No, it's pretty much just the way it went. To be honest with you, my game plan kind of went out the window a little bit. Like I was really kind of shocked about. He came out southpaw. It completely threw me off, and he had like I say, his range was insane. So that kind of just threw me off a little bit, and I was like, right, well. He caught me with a couple straight lefts down the pipe, and I was like, right, I'm gonna have to change this up a little bit, take him into deep waters, because I've seen him a few times in a couple of his fights, and I mean his wrestling wasn't really great. Taking nothing away from the guy, he's great, but his wrestling wasn't really there. He had decent ground game, but I know that I was just leaps and bounds above him. Yeah. So I just thought, right, let's take you into my comfort zone now, and yeah, like I say, got the takedowns. Like I could have done a lot more on the ground, I guess, but well, at the end of the day, I got the win.
Yeah, no, he did it impressively. He did well on the ground, like just to stop you do what you needed to do. Like you held a heavy body, like you held a lot of weight on top of him. Yeah. Which I think exhausted him. I think which you could really see by the third round as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could have actually been a bit more on the attacking side. Like I say, could have postured up a little bit more, but he done a great job of every time I postured up, he would hit me with a weird elbow from a different angle. He'd go 2-on-1. He'd hit me with like a back elbow, and it was just like elbows coming from all over the place. So to be honest with you, I was trying to keep more of the position than looking for either submission or strikes, because like I say, if I overcommitted to a strike or a submission, the chances of him getting up would be high. So.
Well, he was quite a tall guy as well. He was quite long, last
wrapped up. Yeah, exactly. He was really rangy, and he would have got up. And I think a couple of times where I did possibly overcommit to a couple of strikes on the ground, he gave him a great opportunity, and I think he actually got up from it. I think I could recall at least 1 or 2 times that happened, which was later on in the rounds. So, but like I say, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Well, you were moving guard quite freely, from half guard to side control. Yeah. It sounded like you were doing that quite nicely. It was just when you gave him that little bit of space, I think, because he was slightly like taller sort of gent. The explosiveness sort of helped him get up, but you still held him down well. And at the end of the day, it was a technical fight. At the end, if you're an MMA fan, you can see that was technical. You were keeping busy on the floor. Yeah. And like no disrespect to yourself, like did you find this was a great fight to show what like you're good at also coming back from any sort of adversity as well? Like in the third round, you took that left hand from him pretty well. To be honest with you, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to dishearten you at all. You took it bloody well, and like that was clean. Yeah. And then also sunk that guillotine in as well, which you quite really well slipped out of. So first question is, like, honestly, how hurt were you? Because it was sort of like a glancing blow, wasn't it? Like, were you going for a takedown? He caught you?
No, it was a clean punch. It was kind of like around the back of the head. And like I said, the canvas is vital.
James, your mic again. I think have you got no, that's right. Have you got a microphone which is attached to headphones?
Yeah, I do.
Just hold it from touching your t-shirt. That's what that crackling is.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, that's all right, mate. Only because I made that mistake once, and I thought that must be what it is.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, it was a great punch. It was like more around the back of the head, and as I was going in for a takedown. But also like the cage floor is like a vinyl, so it's also very slippy. And as he caught me with a great punch, I was going in for a takedown. So I think it was just like a bit of everything really. But the punch didn't really hurt me. it was more like the elbows when he landed on top, and it was striking with a lot of heavy elbows to like around like the ear area, so, and not the top of the jaw. So, but I mean, like I said, fought on and managed to get on top and score some more points.
That's it, man. And how deep was that guillotine? Because he looked like he had the arm all the way through. You know, you could see the knuckles out the other side. I thought, oh, that's deep. But you slipped out. You know, how deep was it?
It was pretty deep. I mean, no, I mean, it wasn't enough to submit me. I mean, but yeah.
It's a great escape.
Trying to think back to it, really. Yeah, I mean, it was quite deep. It was, but yeah, it was nothing to tap. I was never in danger. I was never panicking or anything. You know what I mean? If I was panicking, I would have tapped out. Do you know what I mean? I would have had to tap at the end of the day. But I remained calm. I knew I was going to escape, and I knew that his arms were going to be heavy. He had to carry my body weight for 3 rounds. Do you know what I mean? So I knew that at the end of the day, his arms they didn't have the squeeze to tap me.
No, and you did well. You got out of the position, and maybe if you carried on with the elbows, you may have been better off. But it looks like you were surviving. You know, you're tough. You took that left hand like a boss.
Yeah,
you know what
thank
I mean?
you.
And, no, it just shows. You know, you can take if need be, you can take a shot and still come back. You always move forward. You know, which is great to see.
Yeah.
At the end of the second round, it seems like there was a bit of coming together. At the end of the second round, when you was getting up, what was said to each other there?
Nothing was really said. It was just kind of like, I think he was a bit emotionally invested into the fight. I think that he knew that he'd lost 2 rounds, and I think he was trying to play a little bit of mind games with me, trying to get up in my face and stuff like that. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm a grown man now. If anyone gonna get my face, I'm gonna stand there. Do you know what I mean? I'll give it to them. So I'm not gonna let anyone do that to me, no matter what weight they are. So
no, exactly. One thing to notice as well, you're landing some great leg kicks as well. I mean, not just in your normal like land leg kick. You're really timing them well as he was moving in, and you also landing more towards the calf area, which is becoming more popular now. Sort of move. Is that something you worked on in training?
Yeah. I was through this camp actually. I was working a lot of calf kicks. I knew that he was he had very like strange sort of like footwork patterns. He was very very heavy on his feet. But like I say, my kind of game plan went out the window a little bit as he came out southpaw instead of orthodox. Yeah. And like I say, with the orthodox stance, it was going to be very easy for me to get like a powerful calf kick on him. So, but yeah, I was looking for that because like I say, as he went to southpaw, I was trying to go for more body kicks instead and get to kick to the arms to try and tire his arms out to stop that straight left coming down the pipe. So I was trying to look for like the body kicks to slow him down and to kick the arms to try and dead his arms a little bit.
And you could definitely tell that at first his jab, he was throwing the jab a lot, and then after about 30 seconds, he had the timing quite well down to it. Head movement. Moving out of the way, but you can tell from when he landed that first jab in the beginning. I could just see straight away your whole body language changed.
Yeah,
you were like, no, you don't do that.
Yeah. I was like,
and that's what hurt your lip, wasn't it? That first one, wasn't it?
I think it was. I think it was a straight left that come. Yeah, straight left that.
Yeah, that was it.
Lip. Yeah, straight left.
And your body language just changed. I was like, right, that wasn't a good plan. But it just shows again, like you came forward, you held him. And also, what I was going to say is, you're undefeated still, fantastic, and also that's your first pro unanimous decision. So how did that feel? Going to the decision for the first time, was that sort of, as I said, your game plan went out the window, as you said. So how did it feel going to the decision? Did you feel comfortable at the end of the third? Yeah,
I felt comfortable that I had the win for sure. I mean, I wasn't comfortable with my performance. I feel like my performance, I didn't really show too much of my skills.
Yeah.
But like I say, at the end of the day, I got the win, so that's all that really matters.
Exactly.
I mean, I was comfortable. I knew that I was going to get the win at the end of the day. Like from even in that last round, I could have coasted it, but instead I was still looking for the finish at the end of the day. But like I say, I got the decision win.
That's it, man. If there were 2 more rounds, how are you feeling at the end of that third?
Sorry, say that again?
If there were 2 more rounds, say it was a title championship fight, how are you feeling at the end of the third? Could you have done a couple more rounds, do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people were saying that I was gassed. I wasn't gassed. I just couldn't close my mouth because I just took a bloody about 20 elbows to the jaw. Like my jaw was killing. I wasn't tired. I just, like I say, it was more my jaw, like where I just took a bloody sledgehammer to the head.
Yeah, and again, you regretted that one. You popped out, land on top of him again, and
Yeah.
well, you know what I mean. The story writes itself after that, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, what's the sort of timeline you're looking at now before getting into your next fight? I know you said you want to evaluate your last 3 fights and take a bit of time out when I spoke to you in the post-fight interview. So, what sort of timeline you're looking at the moment?
I hear there's a Cage Warriors coming up in, I think it's November in London.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like I wouldn't mind jumping on that one, actually. That'd be a pretty good one to get onto. I like these London cards. Close to, I've got a lot of family down there, a lot of friends. So they can all come support, which they always do. So that'd be a good one.
Nice. Did you have a lot of them there on at 106?
Yeah,
106?
yeah. I had loads of people. It was actually the biggest crowd I've ever had to a fight before, which was really nice. And they're all there, so yeah, it was really good, mate. I have to thank all of them once again who came out and showed support.
Well, and also it's on your biggest. I reckon so. Your biggest stage you've been on. It's the biggest stage Cage Warriors ever done. 6 title fights. Like you shared the prelims with a title fight.
Yeah.
So in Modestus. So how did it feel being on the biggest card? Biggest card Cage Warriors have ever put on, and you've got more people there than ever. When you walk down.
Yeah, it felt. It did feel really good, mate. Like I say, I don't try and let the venue or the show or whatever it is try and get to me a little bit. I just try and focus on the one thing that's in front of me, and that the day that was Kingsley and beating him. So that's what I was focused on at the end of the day. Try and block everything else out because I feel like that's just added pressure. So it was. I think they said as well that I was the first fighter to be announced ever in the London Apollo, which that felt cool.
Yeah,
that felt really cool, actually. First fighter ever to be announced in the London Apollo, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah, man. And what was interesting with the Apollo is I was looking at it when you watch it on the TV. It's very odd to see a cage on the stage. It works, don't get me wrong, but it must have been. How did it feel like walking to the cage and like you're thinking there's not a whole audience around me in a 360?
Yeah, it did feel. It actually did feel. It felt like everyone was miles away. That's what it did. It felt like, and like the walk, like the walk to get down to the cage, felt like it was taking for absolutely forever as well. But yeah, I felt like it was a great setup. Fair play to Cage Warriors. They did an amazing job of everything again, and it was a wicked night.
Yeah, I think they did well, especially the temperatures were pushing 40 degrees that day. And I saw you guys when you were warming up, and it must have been tough for you. But the Cage Warriors were looking after you. Hell, they're even looking after us in the media room. We had so many bottles of water brought to us every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I sweated like twice my body weight that day.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was a good day out. It was a really good day out. It was good to watch all your fights as well. And I say look forward to seeing you fight again, and hopefully, as you say, in November back to London. Even more fans, I'm sure now. From watching your last fight. So what I want to do is I want to go back to your fight before, if that's okay, your debut in Cage Warriors. So you came into Cage Warriors in your debut. Obviously, we actually saw a different side to you than we did in this fight. I know you said your game plan changed, but we saw more of your stand-up in the first fight. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. But the guy that I fought, he was I know that he's a really good Joshua Mordy, and before I get into it, he's actually a really, really nice guy. I was talking to him at the end of the fight as well, and we've exchanged DMs on Instagram a few times, and he is a absolutely sound bloke first and foremost. But yeah, anyway, getting back into the performance, I definitely saw more my striking side. I mean, that's how I felt like it was going to go against Kingsley, but it didn't, obviously. but yeah, like I knew that that Joshua, he was a very, very high level grappler. He's a really good BJJ guy. I know he competes all the time and stuff like that. And I knew that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to come in there and try and take me down to the ground and submit me. But I feel like my takedown defense was too good on the night. And I mean, that guy, he was another bloody specimen of a human being. He was a freak. He was crazy strong, and I knew that in that first round that he was going to gas himself out trying to take me down to the ground. And yeah, that's what he done. He gassed himself out, come out in the second round, and I managed to catch him clean with a left hook, and yeah, followed up on it and managed to get the TKO stoppage.
Yeah, how did that feel? Because obviously, it's your second pro fight to start off with, and you're fighting Cage Warriors. Yeah. First of all, that must be pressure on its own, right? Let's start with that. How did that call come around for Cage Warriors? How did the opportunity? Because you've only had one pro fight. Yeah. I'm not saying you don't deserve it. I just don't know. How did it come so quickly for you?
Like my coach, Dean Hammersinger, he's the one. He was having a bit of back and forth with Cage Warriors. Must have used his magic somewhere, and and managed to get me my debut on Cage Warriors. I mean, it come around pretty quickly. I had my first professional fight in December, and then I think I fought Joshua in the March. So I had like 3 month turnaround from my first fight. So I literally kind of just went had a little bit of time off at Christmas, and then straight as soon as January hit, bang, just focused on my fight for Cage Warriors. But yeah, it was an amazing feeling. It was one of the best feelings ever, getting the TKO stoppage. But to be honest, mate, what made it even better though was the fact that like I say, at the end of the day, Joshua took it like a man. Do you know what I mean? He like I say, he's a top bloke, and I'd probably always stay in contact with that guy. He's a really nice dude.
Well, he didn't go down easy. You know, he tried to stay on his feet as we saw, as best he could. And obviously, good stop by Leon Roberts as well, the referee.
Yeah, definitely.
Noticing straight away, obviously, the fight was out on his feet. He was just too tough for his own good. Some people are, you know. They just want to try and stand up as long as possible. But in your head, you must have grown up. You've seen all these highlight reels and things like that, and the chicken legs. And what did it feel like? Beside him being a nice guy, what did it feel like? You know, in your head, when you actually get that up, because obviously I've never experienced it, when you've hit someone and you see all of a sudden they're wobbling like anything, like what goes through your head? Is it just adrenaline and just go? Or what were you thinking at that time?
For me, from what I remember as well, like, what, it was all pretty crazy anyway, you know, like the feeling, it's crazy, like, when you see that you've hurt someone like that, I mean, it is as bad as it sounds, it is a great feeling, but yeah, I just tried remaining calm. I seen that because he didn't completely go down, so it was whether or not I was gonna go in, overcommit to something stupid, and he was gonna take me down to the ground and try and recover. So I kind of had to take a few steps back and reassess what's going on, like think about what's happening, because I don't want to rush into it. And then I found my openings. I hit him with a flying knee. So I come at him with a flying knee, so it'd be very hard for him to take me down, or he was going to eat a knee. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and where he's already wobbled, he's not thinking right. So he had to try and process that as well. So I hit him with a flying knee, left hook to the head, left hook to the body, and I think that's when he flew to the other side of the cage, and the ref stopped it.
Yeah, it was a lovely combination, and as I said, the guy tried to stay on his feet the best he could.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he didn't go down, I know you'd have to go and finish him off, so it's a good stop by the referee on that
definitely.
one. So that set you up nicely for your next fight then. Obviously, Night of Champions. There must have been a lot of people trying to get onto that card for Night of Champions in the Cage Warriors world. You're getting it literally 3 months later, so again, how did that sort of luck in its way come about? Is it because you came out of that fight quite unscathed and ready to go?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I say, I got another message from Dean saying, "You ready to go again?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I'm ready to go again. Let's have it." And I knew on the night, I said to Dean, the fight before me, I think the guy was called Scott who beat Kingsley also. I think it's called Scott. I'm not sure what his name is, the Scottish guy. But anyway, I said to Dean, I turned and looked at him. I was like, "Look, I reckon I'm going to go out there, beat this guy. I'm going to get one of these dudes next." And yeah, like I said, Dean sent me a message going, "Cage Warriors have been in contact with me, blah blah blah, saying, are you ready to go again? You've got Kingsley." And I was like, "Yeah, sound, let's go." So yeah.
So you've basically been in training camp for the last 6 months, haven't you?
Oh, longer than that, mate. I was waiting for a professional fight last year. You know, I had a couple.
What happened there?
I had a couple pullouts.
What organisation was that in?
I'd won for Fight. I think I'd won for Fight Star later on in the year and had a couple pullouts, but I ended up getting this guy. I don't even want to try and insult him by pronouncing his name, but he was from Iceland. I think his name's Bjorn Omerson or something like that. Yeah. Who also is a great. He had one professional fight, and a lot of people didn't really. I don't know if anyone's done their research up on that dude, but he had a great amateur career. He fought in the IMF amateur championship, and he already had one professional fight against a guy, I think, who now is like 9-2 or 9-3, you know, and he fought him on his professional debut and beat him.
Yeah.
And so that level of like guy for my first fight, I feel like was super testing, but I dealt with him nicely as well.
Would you say it was your toughest test or your most recent challenge?
Probably definitely my most recent challenge, but skill wise everywhere, I feel like the first guy I fought was the best, for sure. Skill wise.
Well, it's a good way to set yourself up instead of taking on like a very negative fighter, like someone like 1-10 or something like that. You went straight in the deep end. You know, that's the best way. You want to test yourself, and if you do lose your first few fights, so what? You know, you're learning the way it went.
Yeah.
That's what amateurs for as well. You know, you can learn the way you're going. And look, you've been pro for not long now, and you're already 3 fights in. You know, 3-0, and you've done it within like 3 quite reputable organisations.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially one of the biggest ones as well. So that's something definitely to be proud of. You're still quite young. You know, you've got a long way ahead of you. So what did you do? Because obviously there was a different in obviously your wrestling in the second fight and the hands in the first fight. But what did you do between the fights? Like, what did you change, or what did you look back at? You saw in the first fight you could improve quite a lot.
I didn't really try.
You had a good. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. You had a good first fight. There wasn't much to improve, but
there's always. Do you know what I mean? There's always room to improve, no matter where it is or how good you are in any sort of position. You've always got room to improve. And what I take from my first Cage Warriors fight is that I was too hesitant on strikes. I didn't really let my I threw all the punches I was throwing were with combinations and in combinations. Sorry, but I didn't really let them flow, if you know what I mean. Like I was kind of thinking about the punches too much. I don't know whether or not that was because subconsciously I was worried about this guy trying to drag me down to ground. I mean, I'm not worried at all that the guy was trying to drag me down, but he was going to I wasn't going to be sticking to the game plan, essentially, that he was just going to clinch me, hold on to me, keep me up against the cage, and just try and win the fight that way. I wanted to try and keep him because I knew that he was panicking. As soon as the clinch broke, he'd panic, and you could see that he'd panic. So I was trying to. I think like maybe if I just kind of hung back a little bit, but then picked my shots more. I think that's what I took from my first Cage Warriors fight. Maybe if I was just pick my shots a little bit better.
Yeah, man. As I said, you're going to keep learning all the way, and you're learning and winning. So it's better than learning and losing, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Everyone learns from a loss, but you might as well learn from winning at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and what I want to see, so I know in your amateur career, you had quite a few submission wins as well.
Yeah.
Earlier on, so. Is that something you still work on? I know we're going to see it eventually from you.
Yeah.
So were you surprised actually when you fought Kingsley that he was able to like stay away from that sort of submission game that you had earlier on in your career?
Not really. I know that guy's got good he's got good BJJ, and I know he has a good BJJ gym that he trains at. But to be honest with you, I wasn't really looking for the submission at the end of the day. I said previously that I was trying to just control and pick my shots when I could, because I didn't want to overcommit to anything, because the guy's got he would have been able to stand up, you know. He's a really good fighter, so he would have been able to probably get up. So I'd rather, instead of overcommitting to a strike or looking for a submission, if it was there, I would have taken it, but I didn't see it on the night, so I just left it, you know. I wasn't going to go looking for anything and risk giving up a good position. So
well, you were active enough. You didn't get stood up. The commentators were stating, you know, how active you were on the floor as well. You know, so it wasn't as if everyone at home was thinking, oh, there's nothing going on. So
yeah,
that's what you want to be. You were dominant on the ground as well as active. You did do some damage, And that's what it's all about, you know. You showed that you can go through on the feet, on the ground. You can go for 3 rounds because it was constant pressure from yourself. You know, that's one thing. Do you find your cardio in that stage that you can just keep pushing forward and putting constant pressure on your opponents? Like you don't let them breathe.
Yeah, for sure. That's my style all over. I like smothering people. I like taking people into deep waters where I know they can't hang with me. So that's what I like to do. Like dragging people into deep waters.
Oh, cool. So if I need to last 3 rounds in a fight, if I eat 10 cinnamon buns a week, I'm sorted, yeah. No, fair play to you. So no, it's good. It's good to hear, mate. So one question I like to ask a lot of fighters as well. Before any of this MMA stuff you did, what made you actually want to get into combat sports? What thought? Do you know what? I want to go in a cage and fight people. You know, I want to go and learn martial arts. Was there anything before? Were you doing some boxing or some Muay Thai before you hit the cage?
Yeah, I started judo when I was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of just done judo for pretty much my whole life till I was about 15. I got really.
Makes sense now. Some of the hip throws we've seen you.
I got quite successful in judo. I mean, I was in the England team and stuff like that. I mean,
wow, man.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I was in like the junior England team. I mean, I was training non-stop judo all the time. I was training with the Olympic team. But then, like I say, when I was 15, my parents they moved up north. So then I was kind of like, well, what do I do here? Like, there's not really many good judo clubs where I was moving to. So I was like, let's give this MMA stuff a go. But prior to moving up north, I mean, I was doing boxing every now and again. My dad was. Both my parents were in the army, and my dad was like an army boxing coach. He was like a really good boxer and stuff like that, and I kind of like looked up to him and always wanted to do boxing, but I never really had the time to, because I was doing so much judo. Like,
how did sorry if I'm interrupting there. How did judo come around then? If your family were more boxing and stuff like that.
Okay, basically, I was born in Germany because of the British Army, and when we were in Germany, our old next door neighbour, he knew a really good judo club in Aldershot is where I moved to. So he was like, my dad's always been a huge like martial arts guy, and him and my mum didn't really want me to get into boxing. They were like, oh, you know, he's got cute. I don't want to ruin my son's face and this all this sort of rubbish. So they were like, okay, we'll stick him into judo then. And so when I was 4 years old, when I moved to England, that was it, mate. Just done judo ever since.
Well, fair enough. And what happened with the England judo then? You said you got into MMA and moved up north. Did they not still pursue you and stuff like that to keep competing with them?
Yeah, no, I just kind of just died. It just kind of just died off, really. Like, I just kind of, I was also kind of losing, because I started boxing when I was 12, but I was only doing it like once a week on a Sunday, because I couldn't. That's the only day I could do it, because every day I was training judo. So. And then I started K1 kickboxing also. So then slowly, for the past for 2 years, I was kind of doing less and less judo and more other martial arts. Yeah. Like K1 kickboxing and boxing. Then I was also doing freestyle wrestling, because my judo coach wanted me to do freestyle wrestling to help actually with my judo.
That's mad, man. Yeah. To find wrestling in the UK, yeah, fair play. You know, that time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a really good wrestling coach. He was a Bulgarian fella called he was called like Lubo, something along those lines. But I know that he's like a huge wrestling coach over here now. I know that he's like a Roger Gracie. I think he's there like one of their grappling coaches over in Roger Gracie HQ in London. So he's like huge. So I managed to get in. I was really lucky to actually train with him when I was really young. So anyway, like I said, I was kind of doing less and less judo, but more and more other martial arts. And at the time, I was really big into MMA. Like, my dad for Christmas was buying me like all the old UFCs and stuff like that. And
quality
in like the days of where like Machida was like the UFC champion and stuff like that, and Rampage.
So you just made me feel really old then. Sorry to interrupt there, by the way. I thought you were going to say, oh, the old days, you know, where it was no gloves, no rounds.
Nah.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, brilliant. Am I that old now? Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah,
right.
that's when Machida took the title off Rashad, if I remember rightly.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry,
it's right. He got me a load of DVDs, and I was like, oh man, this shit's crazy. I want to give this stuff a go. And that's what I was saying. And I think it was all just taking its toll, you know. It was going to happen some point, but like I say, when I moved up north, it just gave me the reason to just be like, okay, let's pack judo in now and let's focus on MMA, and that's what I did.
Fair enough. Was it? So did you have a local gym near you then? You went to the gym you're at now?
Yeah, up north.
No, yeah. So when you moved up north, where was the gym located?
Okay,
in regards to where you were living?
It was in Durham. I was living in County Durham, and the gym was only 20 minutes from my house.
Nice.
Really good Muay Thai gym owned by a fella called Nick Hands. He was my first like proper striking coach, and he's a beast as well. He was actually Ross Pearson's first striking coach.
Oh, cool.
I think one of his first Thai coaches, and also Colin the Freak Show Fletcher.
Yeah, well, man, that geezer's scary just to look at.
Yeah, but he might be scary to look at, maybe. He's a big softy, really, in real life, mate. He's a quality geezer, mate.
He did quite well for himself, even though he didn't have the most successful career in MMA. Like towards the end, he still afterwards he had his own sort of organisations, didn't he, and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's trying to sort out his own organisation from what I've seen at the moment. I think it's called like Freak Show Promotions or something along those lines. But yeah, he's a crazy dude, mate. But he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, I remember when I think he was on the Ultimate Fighter, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did. Come second.
Yeah, and he was a character, wasn't he, in there? Like, he was really funny sort of guy, always the Joker, wasn't he? So yeah, mate, fair play. So at least so it's amazing that you're getting the opportunity to train with these same people that some of the veteran UK fighters have sort of cemented for the new generation coming through.
Yeah.
So do you feel like coming into it, like, did you get into MMA at the right time when it was sort of getting big? Actually, do you mind me asking how old you are? Sorry.
I'm 21.
So you're very young. I knew you were about 21, 22.
Yeah.
So you're still quite young. So did you have the opportunity? You had the opportunity to jump sort of straight into full MMA training gyms as well. But with the judo background of some of your age, it's very rare that you hear someone of your age having some other different background to martial arts. So have you found that's been quite an advantage to you?
Yeah, for sure. Judo is a very foreign thing in mixed martial arts, and like I say, a lot of people, they're not used to like all the sneaky little trips and all the big hip throws and whatnot. It's kind of like it's like a kind of different ball game. Also, especially when they come into the clinch, like I'm very, very strong in the clinch position. I've got very good hips and stuff like that. So, but it's something that people don't train for because a lot of people don't know it. Where a lot of people, especially in England, where they like to think of themselves as good wrestlers or stuff like that, but they're actually probably not that great. But like I say, judo does give me a huge advantage in mixed martial arts because a lot of people they just can't train for it. They really can't. It's one of those martial arts where it takes a lifetime to get good at.
Yeah, because I did it when I was quite young and not to the sort of level you did. But I know it's all about using other people's body weight against them and things, and eventually it becomes like a second nature, doesn't it? Like driving a car.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's brilliant. Is that something would ever tempt you? Say you have like a bit of a gap between fights, would it ever tempt you to maybe do a judo competition again?
Probably not. If I'm being honest with you, I mean, I'm steering more towards BJJ. I think that's like my new love is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I want to start competing in the gi if I can, really. I need to give myself a rest, really. I mean, I never give myself a rest and give my body a chance to heal. But BJJ is a new love for me. When I was growing up doing judo, and BJJ started, I felt like it was just starting to come on the scene a lot more. I was kind of like a bit naive about it. I was like, it's just kind of like just judo on the ground, really. But now that I really I train it all the time and I really understand it now, it's kind of like, well, this is actually like a whole new ball game. It's completely different to judo.
Yeah, man, you can be the biggest bloke in the world and the smallest person can still hold you.
Yeah,
in
for
jiu-jitsu.
sure. Mate, I love it. It's by far my favourite martial art to do now.
Well, that's it, mate. And obviously, and look at people like Ronda Rousey. You can compare to, she was a judo champ, obviously at Olympic level.
Yeah.
And with her submissions, she was famous for her arm bars and things like that. And it all came from judo throw,
Yeah.
judo maneuvers.
Yeah. It was in that like that mix of where you've thrown someone and they're so high in the air, and as soon as their back hits the floor, that split second she's jumping on arm bars, and because in that split second, people trying to process what just happened to them because they've never felt anything like that before. Unless they train with other people that were super high up in judo, but yeah, it was that split second where they're like their brain's trying to process what just actually happened when they got thrown or foot swept or whatever it is.
Yeah, when you're thrown through the air and you feel weightless, I said, like, as you know with judo yourself, as long as you get the technique right, anyone can throw anyone.
Yeah.
As long as you get the hips in and the throw. So people aren't expecting it, and when you're mid-air and you feel weightless, it's a bit disheartening.
Yeah,
it's like I've got no control.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that obviously gives you that split second when they hit the ground to get into a dominant position.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. And look, quality, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to see more of your fights, especially after talking to you and knowing a bit more about your background as well. So I didn't know about the England judo thing.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense now watching your fights. When you're getting wizard try to take people down, it makes sense watching them now.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff. Question you probably get asked a lot. I asked all the people I interview this question. So nickname is one of my favourite things that fighters have.
Okay.
Okay, and obviously most fighters are given their nickname. So I want to ask you the question: Were you given your nickname, and if you were, how did it come around?
Yeah, I was given my nickname. Basically, right, it's a long story. I went home up north, and I've when I'm in fight camp, even out of fight camp, I've got like a huge love for like honey. I just love honey. And anyway, and I was talking to one of my uncles back home, and he was like, "Why don't you call yourself the Honey Badger?" And I was like, "Oh, don't be silly, like it sounds stupid."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, honestly," he goes, "Look up honey badgers. Look how crazy, look how vicious they are. They don't give a shit about anything." I was like, "Yeah, all right then. Let me have a look." Blah blah blah. So I looked up honey badgers. He was sending me some videos, and I was like, "Oh man, they are actually pretty mental." And so I didn't really think too much of it. And then I come back down, started my training camp for my second pro fight, and I was talking to Dean about nicknames and stuff like that, and he was like, and someone called me, someone said to me, "Oh, you should be James Honey Hendin or something like that," and I was like, "Oh, it's funny you say that because my uncle calls me the Honey Badger, or called me the Honey Badger," and Dean was like, "No, that is your nickname." He goes, "You're exactly like a honey badger." He goes, "You love honey." Obviously, it's just a myth that honey badgers love honey, but he was like, "Yeah, no, that fits your style." He goes, "You're small, you're aggressive, and you don't give a fuck, and you'll fight anyone." I was like, "Oh, come off it." He was like, "No, mate, that's your nickname from now on." I was like, "Yeah, cool." So that's the dogs.
That's all right.
And yeah. So that's how it come about, and then it just stuck ever since. Everyone's called me the Honey Badger.
Well, if you ever lose it, we'll call you the Twister.
Call me the
Okay, because we know how much, and that's not from the submission, everyone, by the way. That's from the love of ice cream.
The love of ice cream, yeah, or cinnamon.
Brilliant, mate. I'll tell you what, James, we can continue talking forever. I wish we had more time, but I'll tell you what I want to do in the last couple of minutes we have, just give you the opportunity to give a shout out, to anyone who's helped you get to where you are now, any sponsors, anything like that at all. Just give them a shout out now.
Yeah, I'd like to first and foremost thank my family and friends, my girlfriend, everyone who comes to support me and continues to support me through my MMA career. Also like to give a shout out to my head coach Dean Ammersinger, all the guys from NFM, my GK1 striking coach Gregor, my BJJ coach, MMAX, my sponsors. I got Precision Hydration, thanks to them guys, they're absolute quality. Full Reptile, Dan Hardy, all the Raptors, all the Hardy Wallhead crew, just everyone. Thank you for all your help.
Did you have Dan Hardy in your corner, by the way, on your first cage?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw him in the crowd there.
Yeah. He's a brilliant guy.
I know. I chatted to him at Bellator. Who was he with? I think was it Terry Brazier?
Yeah,
was it
Terry.
Terry? Was it? Yeah, it was Terry. Yeah. So I was chatting to him then as well. Yeah, lovely guy. He got time to talk to everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
even though he's a big name in the UFC, who has been in the past and still is now, and was presenting. So yeah, lovely guy. You learn that with most MMA fighters, to be fair.
100%. 100%.
I could bet I couldn't actually tell you any like arsehole ones I met.
Yeah.
To be fair, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's great. It's really nice to see him. So talk to people like yourself, the young up and comers who are coming through more of a different sort of generation than we did. I've only got 10 years on you, but I see you're focused on this sort of MMA thing. Like if I was your age again, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd dedicate my life to MMA, but I left it a little bit too late. Cigarettes and alcohol found its way to me first of all, unfortunately. So yeah, that's the problem. But I tell you what, thanks again very much. Really appreciate you coming on, and we definitely need to catch up again in the near future.
It's a pleasure, mate. It's a pleasure. We'll definitely have to do another podcast sometime down the line, mate. For sure.
Yeah, perfect, mate. Look forward to it. Thanks.
All right, mate. Thank you.